welcome to A Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Finks.
And we're back, man. Episode 427.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, the other voice you hear, that is Keith, formerly on the podcast. He hasn't been here for a while. He had a life-altering event happen in his life where he had his child. Mm-hmm. And, man, it's been a while since you heard that guy. I'm glad to have him back. So, Keith, can you tell us a little bit of what fatherhood has been like and what are some things that have happened that you probably haven't thought you would see?
Yeah. So it'll be 2 months on the 11th since my daughter was born. I got my, got my girl dad shirt on, you feel me? But it's been, how would I say it? It's easier and harder than people say. I think most people, I would say, like, everyone describes parenthood from their own abilities and their own experience. So for me, like, being, the lack of sleep and stuff like that, it does get difficult, but it's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? I'm able to manage. I'm a person that, like, tends to operate, especially like when I was in college and stuff, like on a little bit of sleep, whether I was working on finals or working on different projects or working on different films and stuff like that, and up late night editing and things like that. So, like, that's kind of the nature of an artist, to be kind of like operating on a lack of sleep. So that part of it wasn't that crazy. And then I guess one thing that the lack of sleep is, something that, and I don't drink, I'm not a coffee drinker either. So I feel like if you do drink coffee, that's what it's for. So if you're still tired with coffee, then I don't know why you're drinking it. But yeah, so it's been cool. I think the other part of it is just the rhythm of it. You know what I mean? I think no one can really prepare you for the rhythm of what it's like to be raising a young 2-month-old child. Like, they essentially, like, eat, sleep, poop, pee, and repeat. You know what I mean? That's kind of like what it looks like. Like, you changing a lot of diapers.
Sounds like R. Kelly.
Oh, dang. Yeah. Yeah, you changing a lot of diapers. You're just kind of getting woken up in the middle of the night because she's hungry and things like that. So you getting up, out of a decent sleep. You might be mid-REM sleep, and then you got to, get up and make the baby a bottle and stuff like that.
I think the closest we get to being a billionaire in life is being an infant child.
Yeah.
Because everybody's at your beck and call.
Yeah, everybody loves you. You're so adorable to everybody. You don't have to do anything. Like, literally, all you're doing is eating, and you get carried around, and people love you, and yeah, I think so.
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. Your daughter has 2 employees right now.
Pretty much, yeah. We work for her. Yeah,
that's a trip, man.
Full-time gigs.
You know what I've learned, or what I've noticed over time, especially once the baby came into this world. People, especially people who've had kids, like, oh my God, the baby looks just like you, or it just looks like. I just think the baby looks like a baby. Like, at first, the baby just looks like the baby. That's it. Like, I think every baby, especially like a black baby or a Hispanic baby, they all go through like that Beyonce phase where they just look like Beyonce for like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. and then they start to change their tone, because at first, the baby was just looking like the baby, and I'm like, we was like, the baby looking like Keith. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you went to work, and now the baby looked like your wife.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as you went back to work, the baby just turned straight into your wife. I was like, dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, it I think for me, it's not necessarily, I guess it's like she was so young, like, she even looks a lot different than when she came out the womb.
Yes.
Like, and a lot of it is because, one, she's a quarter white, so that like she came out like a very white baby, I guess you would say. And then 2, like, in order to come through the birth canal, your head gotta get squished, and so, like, her whole face and body is like kind of like, that's what I would say, like, something I didn't realize is that because the baby is coming out in such a way, and they've been kind of cooped up in the womb for so long, like literally just like, like arms crossed, stuff like that. Maybe moving a little bit. That they come out a little deformed, if that makes sense. Like, their faces, they had to fit through this tiny hole.
Like the movie Coneheads.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So, and then over time, the blood gets flowing and they start moving their limbs and their reflexes and stuff like that. And then eventually they start to look like a normal human being.
What I could tell about your baby is when she gets older, she's going to have a round head. She's going to have a round head because have you ever been going to school with like some kid and the back of their head is just flat?
Yeah.
You're like, damn, your parents never picked you up.
Right. Yeah.
I've seen this one dude with the most chronically flat back of his head. I was like, dog, you are like probably like you were almost needing to get surgery to fix the flatness.
Yeah.
It's like this nigga's head looked like Roblox, bro. I was like, yeah, damn.
That definitely, like you said, because the baby comes out with like essentially like a amalgamation of a head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's plates right here, and
right.
it's soft so that the baby can squeeze through. But that does happen. Like sometimes if you don't pick your kid up, and they just on their back all day long, then they can definitely develop that flat head.
Yeah. I noticed like especially once my dad started cutting his hair low, you start seeing the back of his head was kind of flattened. I was like,
yeah, it's a telltale sign.
I was like, damn, Dad.
Yeah, if your head flat, your parents didn't love you.
Yeah, man. I wonder what that does to your brain. Like when the back of your head is flat. You can shape a baby's head too, though, which is crazy.
Yeah, they have the little helmets.
Little helmets, yeah.
Mm-hmm. They had a sign right there on Oak with the little helmet and the baby.
Oh yeah, I seen that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If I had a baby, I would just get him a Dodger fitted hat. Like here, I'm gonna put this 5 and 2/8 on your head. Eddie, why you got a Dodger hat on the baby all day? I'm shaping their head.
That's hilarious.
Hey, my son plays in left field. I'm gonna get him a Dodger hat and put it on his head.
Yeah. It is interesting though. I think like there's a version of it where I think maybe men, I don't know about women, I can only speak for men. Like, we're so like goal oriented a lot of times. So, we come out the womb, baby come out the womb like, oh yeah, like my son gonna be a football player, my son gonna do this, he gonna play basketball, whatever. So that is like a real thing. Like you always have these like hopes and dreams for your child and what they could be. But you don't want to rush the process. You know what I mean? You don't want your kid to be growing up faster than they need to. But I have multiple of my friends that have kids in high school now. Like one of my friends, his son is a quarterback and he's going to be a junior. Literally the same, we're in the same class and we're just, I'm just looking at him like, dang, it's just so crazy. Like how time flies. And then two, like, I'm so far away from that. I don't even know what that's going to look like. And then another one of my friends, his son is starting high school this year too. He plays basketball and it's just like, dang, dude, like you kind of like, you love that journey. Cause you like, dang, I can see, I would say like now, in terms of like, how to develop like a successful human being. Like I've seen a couple of different blueprints, and they haven't reached college and stuff yet, but they're kind of like building their resume towards that. But you just see like the development over the years and, day in and day out and year in and year out, how they were, working on their craft or playing Pop Warner and, doing different things and experimenting and, training and stuff like that. And then now they're in a position to where it's like, okay, high school is that last couple meters before you kind of reach, your adulthood and your college years. And I think like, okay, this is how you set the kid up to be successful in that
That's
aspect.
crazy. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that means how old was your classmate when they had their kid then? I'm trying to think.
If his son is 16, he probably was like 19, 18, 19, somewhere in there. Yeah.
Wow.
Like probably like right after high school.
Right after high school.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think about like people that I know that are my age. They're like, yeah, my son's in the Marines. Yeah, my son's it goes to this college. Yeah, my son. Yeah. And I'll be forgetting like, damn, I'm 41. God damn.
Yeah, you kind of like you can see, what that looks like. And I think for me, like I'm 34, so I think 34 is a perfect time to have to have a kid, because I was talking to, ironically, one of my students about it, and he's going to be a junior this upcoming year, and he was like, "Hey, how's fatherhood?" And I was like, "It's dope, man. Like, it's tiring at times, but it's pretty." Hey, my mic falling. It's pretty chill. And I was telling him, and he was just saying, like, and he offered this information. He was just like, "Yeah, I think I want to start a family one day, but I'm gonna wait till I get into my 30s." And I was like, "Yeah, that's actually a perfect time, because you have your career, you've probably already graduated college, you've made some money, you're probably in a committed relationship and things like that." And he was just saying, like, "Yeah, mom," he said my mom was kind of saying, like, "Oh, what about like 20s and stuff like that?" And a lot of the parents want grandchildren, but at the end of the day, like, when you're in your 30s, like, it's prime, and you're a little older, but older in a way where you're more wise, not in a way where it's like, your balls are shriveling up. Like, you still got a lot of life ahead of you.
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as your balls is under attack, that's when it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, man. Shout out to Keith, man. Proud of him, man. I think I think that when you step into the the marriage and the fatherhood and all of that, I think that would stress me out, but in a different way. Like, it would stress me out because I would know how much more I would need to apply certain principles to have for the betterment of my kids and wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's like you can love people, but it's a stress that's based in, like, I gotta stay on point. Like, it can't be. It's not just about me. It's almost like for a guy that goes to work to provide for his family is sacrificing so much more than a guy like me. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to like take care of myself.
Yeah.
But a guy that's going to work, somebody blowing your shit up. But for
family group chat.
Yeah, that shit going crazy. I can hear it. Yeah, it's just a big difference. But yeah, man, I'm sure the listeners, everybody's glad to have Keith back.
Yeah, I would say the last thing I would say too is like, one thing you don't think about is like the recovery aspect for your wife, because it's very traumatic on their body once they have a child. You know what I mean? And their recovery is dang near as taxing as trying to raise the 1 day old, 2 day old, or 3 whatever, however many days, because a lot of times they struggle to walk and get out of bed and things like that. So that's another aspect that they don't really tell you too much about. Like, not only do you have to tend to this child, but also like you got to tend to your partner in that instance. So that's why me and my wife were talking. We was like, "Dog, I don't know how you would do that. Like, if you just have like a one night stand, or like,
man,
you just get some random chick pregnant that you don't really be in a relationship with, because it's so you have to rely on one another, or how people are doing that, like when they're teenagers, because you got to essentially rely on somebody to help you in a lot of these situations, whether it's doctor's visits or driving around and different things like that, even sometimes like showering or reaching certain things. So I'm like, dang, I don't know how people did that if they don't even rock with the person they had the baby with.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's tough enough when women are married or they have a partner. They still hurting and struggling, but they on a struggle bus for real when they don't got nobody there.
Yeah.
So that's like, man. I seen some video of some dude that was his wife had just had a baby, and he was like picking her up and like literally physically picking her up and moving her around and stuff and getting her stuff. And I was just like, dang. Like, man, that's you got to be on that type of time, especially you're gonna have a kid, man. But the dudes would be like, "That ain't my kid. That ain't mine, man. Fuck that shit. I don't care."
Yeah,
and
man.
As soon as your kid get drafted to the NBA, like, I want to see my son.
Nah, yeah. Even so the whole that's what the hard part for me is, when you see like a deadbeat dad and you realize like how much
you miss too much shit, man.
Like, when the wife is, or not the wife, but the baby's mom is like 8-9 months, like she could barely get around. A lot of times the feet be swollen and different things like that she's dealing with health wise. So for her to be doing that all by herself, or I've seen situations where we'll be in a class, and I don't know everybody's situation, but you'll see somebody in there like with their moms, you know what I mean? And I'll be like, dang, I wonder where the guy is. But, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's not in the baby's life. But, it just does say something where, the wife, the the child's mother's in there with their mom, and they're just doing the whole thing without the father being present. I'm like, dang, dude, I couldn't imagine.
It'd be crazy. It'd be some motherfuckers out here too that's like, I'm single. I got a baby on the way, but like I'm single, bro. So I'm out here trying to find the right one. It's like, bro, you need to focus on that fucking kid.
Hey, have you ever seen the girls on the dating apps that be like,
oh my God,
that'd be like 9 months pregnant? Like,
that shit is crazy.
I'm dropping the baby.
As soon as that made me delete dating apps. It definitely.
That's funny.
They'll have like a big old stomach. Like, yes, I am pregnant, but that doesn't mean I'm not capable of. It's like, what is going on?
Baby due at this date. We can go out after. Like,
that's crazy.
You need to work on yourself first.
Yeah, that's insane. The scariest. What made me, one of the things that made me stop going to the club, and I swear, when I seen this, I said, oh my God. I was at Club Azules. It had to be like 2010. Mm-hmm. Yeah, between 2009 and 2010. I was at Club Azules, right? And there was a pregnant chick inside of the club with a drink in her hand.
Nah.
I said, nigga, I'm out of here.
Nah.
Yeah, I'm out of here, bro.
Dang.
I've seen some shit before that it just made me never have respect for certain people. Like I remember there was a woman I used to work with. I'll leave her nameless, but she was out taking a smoke break and she was pregnant.
Nah.
Smoking cigarettes with a big old stomach.
That's crazy.
I said, yo, you don't deserve that kid, man.
Not at all.
You don't deserve that kid, man.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, you're essentially calling for your child to be born with a developmental
problem.
issue.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, man.
Yeah.
Like this is just super selfish. Anyways, let's not damper the mood there. Shout out to Keith and his wife and his kid, man. Let's move forward and talk about something very colorful. Switching gears. Speaking of color, Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid pineapple is trending. And for those that don't know what I'm talking about, it is a fabricated Kool-Aid snack that was created. It's basically like red Kool-Aid, or you could mix whatever flavor Kool-Aid and whatever amount of sugar you put in it with pineapples, and like the pineapple marinades in the Kool-Aid, and it literally adapts to the color of the Kool-Aid, and people are biting like the pineapple, and it's just super sweet, and people love it, right? Mm-hmm. But the issue with this is like, this is not only highly processed and there's so much sugar in it, but it's like, dude, you guys have no idea that you're enabling people to become diabetics. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is the problem. Viral Kool-Aid pineapples are made by soaking fruit in Kool-Aid powder and up to 1 cup of added sugar. This creates a sugar bomb, end quote, with 230 to 380 grams of added sugar per jar. That is roughly equivalent to eating 20 to 35 donuts or drinking up to 9 cans of soda. So when I've seen people eating these these pineapples, they're also drinking the juice at the same time. It's like, yeah, this the one. This fire. This fire, right? I'm like, nigga, bro, just go to the hospital right now.
Tough.
Just go to the hospital. This shit tough. This one little white kid was like, yeah, this shit gas right here. This shit gas. I was like, bro, stop it with this shit, man. This is health alternatives. Because this viral trend functions essentially as a glucose spike, dietitians suggest making a healthier version if you plan on eating it. And it says, use sugar-free Kool-Aid. The packet itself is the cleanest ingredient in the recipe. Opt for the zero sugar packets to cut the bulk of added sugar. Skip the added sugar is another one. You can get the flavor simply by mixing packet directly into the pineapple's natural juice, foregoing the extra scoops of sugar. People don't care about doing things like that, man. They're going to just keep on doing.
Are they doing? I've seen it a couple times, and I've seen people pulling up on people like, "Yo, I got the 20 for the," you know what I'm saying? And then they get it, and then they take the little pineapple and they eat it. So are people just making the Kool-Aid as it's designed on the packet, like the proper amount of Kool-Aid as it's designed on the packet, or are they just pouring and pouring and pouring? Because I've never seen anybody make it. I've only seen people eat it.
I haven't seen anybody make it, but I would assume that it's extremely easy to make. It's all it is Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And it's literal Kool-Aid with tons of sugar mixed in. And this is the issue with the sugar. Nobody knows how much sugar is being poured in because the person is pouring it into their taste.
Yeah. And
I remember back in the day when I used to make Kool-Aid, I used to go overboard, man. I would pour the sugar in there. And I would pour some in there, and I would stir it up, and then I taste it.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, that ain't sweet enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put a little bit more. I'm like, oh, that's good. But by the time I poured that shit and stirred it, I would get a big old spoon, and it looked like almost like a ladle. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. It's like one of those big spoons used for serving. Mm-hmm. So I'm stirring it up, but you could hear the sugar scrubbing.
It's grinding at the bottom.
And then finally, when you it sounds like somebody somebody's scraping their feet on the ground and some flip flops.
Yeah.
And then by the time you drink it, you're like, oh man, this is
fire.
This is fire, but
it's gas. It's gas.
This ain't gas. This ain't it. Like between people eating hot Cheetos and donuts and this, bro, some people are getting like 250 grams of sugar a day, and that shit is going to hurt you. Yeah. It's gonna hurt you bad. You can't eat that much sugar, dude.
Yeah.
So if you guys thought about doing this, don't. Don't do it. Trust me. You're listening to the right podcast. We will not tell you to try this. This ain't it.
Yeah, leave that one alone.
All right, let's move forward. Switching gears. This is probably the biggest topic right now that's going on the internet and the news. South Carolina jury finds store owner not guilty of murdering and killing of black teens. So recently, there's a guy named Rick Chow that's a store owner that killed a young black kid named Cyrus Carmack Belton. And here's the deal. The young man walked into the liquor store, and he had a backpack. He was told to remove it, so he did. He walked over to get some water, and then he put the water back ultimately, and he showed that he didn't have anything in his pockets. Then he went and grabbed his bag, but I guess they approached him anyways, assuming he had stole something. They chased him for over 130 yards, and then they shot him. Was it 130 feet or 130 yards?
I think yards.
Yeah, so it's 130 yards, and then they shot him in the back, right? And it was the store owner and his son that did it. Now, we'll go ahead and read this article, but there's so much more here. A South Carolina jury on Monday found a store owner not guilty of murder in 2023 shooting of a black 14-year-old. The jury returned a verdict for Chiki Rick Chow, 61, who was Asian shot Cyrus Carmack Belton in the back after chasing him from his convenience store in Columbia. He maintained he acted to defend his son. The killing sent waves of anguish and grief through the African-American community in Richland County, where half of the population is black. After the verdict was read, sobs and cries of distress could be heard from the Carmack Belton family seated in the gallery. Chow sat silently frozen before slowly bowing his head onto his interlocked hands. Okay. Here's the issue, ultimately. There's a lot of people that are saying, you know what? If he didn't do anything wrong, why did he run away? Right? Whenever people pose questions like this, this is what I move to. When you pose a question, if he wasn't doing anything, why did he run? Here's the other question. If you think somebody's guilty of water, right? They're guilty of stealing water. The punishment shouldn't fit that crime. Like if somebody stole water, that's not worthy of you killing and shooting them in the back. And I'm not saying somebody should steal, but you certainly shouldn't kill. Also, it's important to mention, this motherfucker Rick Chow has shot 2 other people. So that jury and that judge need to really be investigated. It makes no sense that somebody's running off. And because ultimately, once the kid fell down, they searched his bag, he had a gun in it. That made them think like there was malicious intent. But somebody with a gun could have just turned around and shot you, but they took off running. Mm-hmm. And I'll say this. I'm not a person that's trying to stick up for somebody and say, oh, he probably needed a gun for protection or this or that. But I will say this. I'm not going to forget how y'all stood up for Kyle Rittenhouse rights when he had a gun and he went to a protest. Mm-hmm. He went to a protest and shot somebody in self-defense when he never needed to defend himself. He would have stayed at the fucking house. Yeah. And y'all went and defended that fucking kid. But a black kid running off, gets shot in the back, and you just look for any reason to, you just don't like blacks. That's all it is. You don't. Yeah. And it's okay. I'm not even tripping. You don't got to like black people, but don't try to come up with these bullshit hypotheticals. We know what kind of conversations you're having at home. This guy shot 2 other fucking people. He shot one person for allegedly stealing oven cleaner. So he shot them 2 times. Another person stole some basic products. They drove off. He shot at their car 6 times. This guy should be arrested. He should be in prison. Why is this motherfucker getting a pass for shooting at somebody for stealing. That makes no sense.
I think that the crazy thing is like for anybody to articulate that stealing, even if he did steal a $1 water bottle,
It's crazy.
should be worth somebody's life. $1, and in reality, it's not $1 because he probably got it wholesale. The child, family, they probably got it wholesale, so it's probably bought it for $0.25. So you're telling that somebody's life is worth, $0.25? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's insane. I'm telling you right now, what I've noticed is there's a lot of microaggressions within people that they don't realize. And I think that sometimes they can be dangerous because they can end up deadly. So I would never try to get anybody to understand what it's like to be a black man or a black person. You don't live my life, so I'm not going to oversaturate you with that information. However, what I will tell you is give you an example of a lot of the microaggressions that I go through. So the other day, I went to get an oil change on my truck, right? So I pulled up and I walked into the Jiffy Lube in there, and I was like, and I walked in, he's like, oh, you need to use the bathroom? He didn't assume I was a person trying to get an oil change. He assumed I was some person just coming in to use the restroom. I said, no, I need my oil change on my truck. He's like, oh, okay. Shit like this happens all the time. When you get pulled over by the police and they ask, hey, so where you going? They don't even ask you questions relevant to the stop. So where you going? I'm like, excuse me? So where are you heading right now? Like, where are you going? That's not relevant to the stop. But I'll be like, I'm headed home. I'll still answer the question knowing that you're a racist piece of shit. But I'll answer the question calmly and respectfully, and I won't challenge the cop because by that microaggression you showed me, you do not like blacks. I know off the top. You're asking me, are you on probation or parole? You're not asking me for license and registration. You don't think I'm a criminal. You know it in your mind. I've never committed a crime in my life. I got a clean record. But they'll pull you over and ask you, are you on probation or parole? Who the fuck do you think you're talking to? I could be a cop if I wanted to. And I guarantee you my background is better than yours. And you're stopping me asking me if I'm on probation or parole. This is the type of shit you deal with as a black person. But the thing about it is if I told you, you wouldn't even, it's not even that you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't even know how to quantify it. And then also, if you don't have any empathy, you'll just think I'm just another black person complaining and playing victim. Well, guess what? I understand what kind of conversations you're having at your home about black people. You can't hide that. I know what kind of conversations your uncle is having. I know what kind of conversations your grandpa's telling you and what you're having. I know what kind of conversations your friends are having and the way they demonize black people. Oh, yeah, it's all fun and games, right? Nobody's racist in your family. They don't see color until you bring a black guy home. Yeah, think about that time you probably had a black boyfriend you dated in college and what your family told you about that situation. He probably was a great guy. There was some Asian women that were chiming in on this, or a lot of Asian people. And they said, like, we need to address the anti-blackness baked into the Asian community. There's a legitimate problem. My father, he said, my father told me that, when she said when she was dating a black man, or she is currently, it was like a crisis. They almost wanted to exile her from the family. This is crazy. You can't, being black, there are different things expected of you, but I'm straying a little too far. What I will say is this in regards to this situation. As black youth need to understand that they are not perceived like everybody else. So don't steal, don't do anything, don't put your hands in your pockets, don't do anything. And the reason why I say that is because you need to protect yourself. And the best way to protect yourself is to kind of like assume that people might not like you at this point. Because throughout history, infinite black kids have been killed and no one went to prison for it. Emmett Till, nobody went to prison for it. Motherfucking, what's his name? The other one that they got shot.
Trayvon Martin.
Trayvon Martin, nobody went to prison for it. Tamir Rice, nobody went to prison for it. Ahmaud Arbery, nobody went to, or they did go to prison. That's a lie. They did go to prison for it.
On that one.
It was a hate crime. But these are the things that happen, and oftentimes people aren't held accountable. I got more to say, but
I think it has to be like, in most cases, it has to be so clear. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it can't be any gray area. Even because with this situation, when you look at Ahmaud Arbery, what does he do? He walks through some houses that are being built, looks around for a little bit.
And other people were doing it.
and then he gets chased down the street and he puts up a fight, and then that's kind of the end of it. So that's kind of like there's not really any gray area with that. I think with the Cyrus kid, once the loaded gun gets involved, it starts to become like, this is what I know about juries and me being a part of like a murder trial myself, and I was an alternate on a case. The jury doesn't listen. Like it's a bunch of like regular everyday people of different educational backgrounds, different upbringings, and that's like the lawyer's job is to play into that, right? So the case that I was on, and I don't know if the guy was basically the guy was accused of first degree murder. He was walking down the street with this guy. They were having some sort of conversation. Who knows what the conversation was, because there's no audio to kind of back up what they were saying. They go past this La Mina restaurant. There was a quick tussle, and then bang, 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 and then the guy runs off. And then the guy that was shot, he kind of like tumbles a little bit. He falls by the train tracks, and then that's pretty much like all the factual things that we know, because we were able to see that on TV, right? According to like what the court case basically says, you have to be able to prove like beyond a reasonable doubt that this person intended. First degree murder is essentially like I planned on doing this. This is my intention to kill this person. So, if you look at it, when I seen this case, and I'll bring it back in a few seconds. When you look at the case, the two people are walking. They're behind this menu, like the drive-through menu, right? They go behind the menu. You see muzzle flashes, and then you see two people kind of like disperse separate ways. If we're looking at like the way they describe it, like you have to prove something beyond a reasonable doubt. There's no evidence to support whether he was defending himself or he was the aggressor. So according to the way that you would describe the law, like there's some doubt left to be said about that situation. So I say that to say, I think that, and I'm not saying he didn't do it, like the person didn't do it. I think we know that he shot the person. We just don't know, what ensued behind the thing. Mm-hmm. And he was found guilty they would deliberate it like maybe like the end of one day, and then the next morning they came to a verdict. And then the case was over. He was found guilty on first degree murder or whatever. Mm-hmm. But in my opinion, if we don't see the action and he's saying that he was defending himself, like he should not be found guilty, because there's still some doubt as to why he actually shot the person. Yeah. So I say that to say, like, these are the type of people that that are sitting in these trials, and the lawyers, they're picking these people for particular reasons. Like I remember when I was on the thing, I filled out the thing. I said, hey, I'm a teacher, blah, 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 blah. Like, what do you do as a hobby? I like making films or whatever. So I got up there, and I was an alternate. So I got up there, and they asked me, it was like, hey, like, juror number, whatever. You said that you're a filmmaker. And I was like, well, yeah, I like to write comedies. I like to write action and superhero stuff, whatever. And he was like, you're not using this as like a opportunity to make a story about it or anything. And I was like, no, I was like, I take this very serious. I understand that this is a legitimate thing. And, I'm not up here just trying to use this as a storyline or whatever. And it was like, okay, we understand. So I ended up being, picked on the jury as an alternate or whatever, and the rest is history. But, when I see these people, you realize that there's like 12 people, or probably the majority of people that can be incompetent, sitting on this jury. You have like, and people are coming in from all different walks of life. So you can have like 4 or 5 people in there that's like not listening or not like obeying the letter or the way that the judge is describing how we should go into first degree murder. And then what could probably happen is there's some people in there that just get exhausted by saying no. Like there could be like, a handful of people in there and be like, yeah, I think Mr. Child did it. I think that he followed this person. I think X, Y, and Z. And then there's probably like 2 or 3 people in there that's like, he got shot in the back. Like this is like, how could this not be murder? How could we not say that he, fully intended to go out there and shoot this child while he was running away? And then after deliberating for however long, somebody might be like, forget it. Let's just go on the other side. And then, and then that's how you get.
We have to stop living in a world where it's just a jury of your peers and understand that there is a legitimate racial component when people look up there. When you don't look like somebody that's redeemable, they will get rid of you and throw you in the trash. And for example, this is a factual point. A black person, or black man more specifically, is 4 times likely to get a longer sentence for the same crime. That is a fact. You can fact check me. So that's the problem with the judicial system, is there's a certain amount of laziness and bias. Last week I talked about the judge, right? The judge that got busted having sex in her chambers with that police officer, right? And I mentioned in that same subtopic, there was also a judge that went from he was from Georgia or somewhere, and he went to Vegas to party. He ended up smoking crack with a homeless guy and was hanging out with 2 escorts all night. And he said, I got to get back to my job on Monday. So these are the type of people that are they're deliberating over people's lives, or proceeding over people's lives, and they have these type of flaws. And these judges can't just lose their job. They have to be literally impeached to lose their job. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, these judges are making a lot of judgment calls rather than doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. It makes me sick that somebody running away that gets shot in the back gets zero justice. Yeah. That's crazy. And okay, you know what's crazy? When George Zimmerman called on the phone about Trayvon Martin, they said, "Are you following him?" He said, "Yes." They said, "Stop following him. You can't follow him." Right? He followed him, shot him, killed him, and got off. This is why I think it's important to have a serious conversation, and it's not just with black people, it's with people of color in general as well. You cannot do certain shit. You can't. There are too many examples of people that look like you getting blasted for it.
Yeah, your life is too valuable.
Yeah, don't run away. Don't run. Don't run. Because the thing about it is, Rick Chow, if he didn't shoot him in there, he would have grabbed him physically and assaulted him that day in the store.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind. The aggression and the eyeballing. I remember a long time ago, I got accused of stealing from the Chester Lane, and it was a Asian woman, and she had a white husband that owned the store.
Yeah, I think the family still owns it.
They're still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, after they accused me of stealing, I went and got my dad. Mm-hmm. And my dad said, "Hey, I don't know who the fuck you think you talking to. This is my son. He ain't stealing nothing." And my dad got so mad that they both ended up apologizing. Mm-hmm. And they backed off. But that's the thing, man. Like, a lot of times in these communities, it's like they got pre-installed racial bias coming from, the Middle East or China or whatever. Yeah. It's like, who the fuck did you guys think you are coming over here with that? We got love for y'all. We don't know what y'all dealt with in your country. We're not coming at y'all with the bullshit. But it's crazy because there was this, and to speak to that, there's this Asian guy that mentioned, like, what would black people do if we didn't have these Chinese stores or Chinese food markets in the neighborhood, right? Before I go into that, these places exist in black communities exclusively because of racism. Please fact check me on everything I'm saying. They were also redlined. They were not allowed to establish businesses in white neighborhoods. So that's why there is just a insane amount of Asian Chinese liquor stores and Chinese food stores in these black communities to this very day. If you go to the most upper echelon areas in any city in America, there are no liquor stores. If there is a store that happens to have liquor, it's a gas station, and it's like a Chevron or maybe like a Samco, and that's it. In the hood, there are literal liquor stores on every other fucking corner. Right? So
I think one thing I would say too is, like, I get it as a business owner. Like, you have this is your livelihood, right? And I do get that there are people that steal. There's sometimes little kids come in there and they stealing candy and things of that nature. But there needs to be like, I think that's what they asked him. They asked him, is there like a protocol? And I don't remember the exact conversation that what happened when they were on the stand, but it was like, do you have a protocol for people that steal? And I don't think they really had a clear answer. And I think they were asking him, is your protocol to follow these people as they run out of the store? So I get it. I get that, like you want to protect your assets and that, and I understand that it feels terrible for somebody to steal from you. But I still don't think that the cost of one, he didn't steal. Cyrus didn't steal anything. I think it looked weird. I would admit that. It did look weird that he picked it up and put it back, and maybe his intention was to do so. But he didn't steal anything. And but the cost of somebody stealing something, especially a $1 water bottle, should not be somebody's life. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that, like you said, maybe it comes from, traumatic experiences of, these high school kids coming in and stealing. But at the end of the day, like, everybody has to deal with that. We used to go to A1 over there by BHS. Yeah. Now, they made it to where, like, you used to be able to walk in with your backpack on or whatever. But now they have different protocols now. Only 2 or 3 students in the store at a time. You got to leave your backpack up there by the thing or whatever. And I think in that sense, it kind of probably moved a little smoother. But yeah, it's just mind-boggling to me. Like, I think the only time somebody's stealing is worth somebody's life is when they come into your crib.
That's different.
Yeah.
Because that's different because there could be malicious intent.
Yeah, you just never know. You got your family in there, your kids and whatnot. Yeah.
You could be trying to steal my TV, but you're willing to die over it. So that's the problem. That's when the homeowner has the right to protect themselves and their family. I don't care about the property at that point. Yeah. You've taken this shit too far. Now you gotta go now.
We locked our doors. This is not a public space, and you chose to come in here or break in here, and that's worth your life for sure.
Yeah, I think this also hit hard because it reminds people of Latasha Harlins, excuse me. That was like one of the tipping points that happened in the early '90s in Los Angeles, which sparked off the '92 Los Angeles riots. And it was basically, Latasha Harlins, January 1st, 1976, she was born. March 16th, 1991, was an African-American girl who was fatally shot at 15 years old from Los Angeles by Soon Jadu Korean. She was a Korean woman. 49-year-old Korean-American convenience store owner. Du was tried and convicted of voluntary manslaughter over the killing. Based in part on security camera footage, the judge sentenced Du to 10 years in state prison, but the sentence was suspended, and the defendant was instead placed on 5 years probation with 400 hours of community service and payment of $500 in restitution. So they basically said this black woman's life was worth $500, and she wasn't even stealing. They proved that she put the juice back, and she shot her in the back of the head. So you got to understand, when you have a fixed idea of black people being these criminals and horrible monsters, you're going to be overreacting in situations where you don't even got to do that, right? And it's completely insane. And not to mention, not only that, in the early 90s, Rodney King happened, and it was caught on video. See, this is what you guys got to understand. When you jump quick to say, like, black people are just always the victims and they just always want to complain, there is nothing that you can say about Rodney King. They took turns beating him. They took turns beating this guy. And it was all on video, and they all got acquitted. You can't tell me that the judicial system isn't fucking racist. They acquitted all the cops after they was taking turns beating his ass. And you want to talk about black people complaining and being the victims. How would you feel if somebody that you know that happened to look like you is, and mind you, did you know that black people that get in prison represent 70% of exonerations? Did you know that? Mm-hmm. Black people that get arrested represent 70% of exonerations, meaning that they were falsely accused. This is what the court system does. Whenever you are literally even in the proximity of a crime, they could just say, like, hey, we don't have the real criminal, but he's black. Let's arrest this nigger. Mm-hmm. And the police are on phone calls calling people niggers and arresting them for no reason. The Antioch Police Department right now has a chain of messages with over like 25 to 30 officers that use the N-word hundreds of times. It's going, man, it's disgusting. My cousin, I don't even want to say his name. My cousin, it's about 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, told me about a private Facebook group that had a bunch of people on it, you know, officers, all kind of people, sheriffs, and they were saying incredibly racist shit on this Facebook group. Mm-hmm. And they didn't know that my cousin was on the group seeing all of it. Dang. Like, bro, we got to stop acting like this shit is rare. Literally the other day, a firefighter just got fired because they had a call to help somebody, and the dude said, "Oh, it's just some fucking niggers in the road. All right, let me get." And they called him they called him literally on the feed from the radio, and when he got back to the station, he got fired. They had to let him go.
Stupid.
I'm just like, dog, let me tell you something. Mm-hmm. Never in my life have I ever fixated on somebody and disliked them because they fucking existed. It's a strange time, especially being a black person is strange because the weird thing about it is motherfuckers will have an opinion about anything you doing. Yeah. And you just like, dog, I'm just trying to live, homie. I'm not trying to bother nobody. It always
looks a certain way.
Yeah.
I think I will say too, like, you know, to kind of go back to what you were saying about just black people in general, I think we have to be hyper aware of those stories, like people getting killed for not stealing, you know, people getting killed for picking up water bottles and picking up orange juices and stuff like that. I think it's okay not to go to those stores. You know what I mean? Like, I think knowing, like, if you're a black man out there and you got young black kids that want to, you know, go get some juice or some water or whatever, I think it's important to say, like, hey, this is kind of the lay of the land, and, you know, don't go to this store at all. We gonna load up on the stuff when we go to Walmart or Sam's Club or whatever the case may be. So that's one part of it. And then two, I think it's important for black people to know how to move in certain situations. Like I gave the story already, but I was shooting a short film, and in the short film, there was a part of it where I was in a ski mask and all black clothes, and I was in the backyard of this house, and basically I jumped through the window. And then, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes later, you know, somebody knocks on the door really aggressive. Anytime somebody knock on the door aggressive, I think as black people, we have, you know, natural instincts, and I ain't never had my house raided or nothing. I just kind of know what that energy is like. So I had my stuff on, you know, the black sweater and, you know, it was basically black pants, shoes, sweater, and then a little ski mask. And then I was still kind of like setting up the next scene, and then I heard a doo 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 doo. And the first thing I did was take off my mask. You know what I mean? And that was just off the instincts. And I did that because I didn't want whoever was at the door, and at the time I didn't know who it was. I didn't want whoever was at the door to make it, even though we're shooting a movie, I didn't want them to think that we was in here doing nothing, no type of criminal behavior. So when I did open the door, and, you know, I approached them, you know, just in a civilized manner, like, it de-escalated the whole situation. Even though a dude had his freaking shield, and, you know, I'm sure that they was
crazy
looking at the situation. I'm sure there was some of them that went in kind of open-minded, but I'm sure some of them went in there like, oh, we about to go crazy. But I was able to de-escalate that situation. So I think that I hope that, you know, there's, whether you have to teach it or whatever, you know, or have the conversations with some of these, and sometimes it's adults too, but, you know, these young black people, to just kind of put themselves in a position where there's no gray area. There's no, you know, situation where you're not, if you pick something up, you know, take it to the counter, you know, keep it visible, you know, like all these different things so that you don't have to, so we don't have to see you on the news, or we don't have to show up to your funeral because of some misunderstanding or something. And then we have to deal with the fact that a lot of these people are getting off. So
absolutely. Yeah, I think those conversations genuinely need to be had. You know what I'm saying? just based on the fact that we've seen this enough. You know, if you go into the stores, don't really have your hands in your pockets. Don't do that simply because you're not like other people. People that, how can I put this? I was accused of stealing when I wasn't stealing, and I seen one of the most bummiest, meth head looking dudes. This white dude, happened to be white. He looked like he was down on his luck. They wasn't even looking at him at all. They was watching me the whole time. Mm-hmm. So this guy looked like he was more capable of robbing your whole motherfucking store, but you're worried about me.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, dog, that's ridiculous. Oh, and as I mentioned before when I told you about the Antioch Police Department, the Antioch Police text message refers to a massive 2003 to 2025 federal and local investigation exposing dozens of officers who exchanged racist, homophobic, and sexually explicit texts, bragged about using brutal, excessive force, and joked about fabricating evidence. The scandal led to major criminal convictions, federal oversight, and massive legal settlements. This shit just happened. So these conversations that people have, this is what I've noticed, right? We're about to move on from this real quick. But what I've noticed is whenever some black person does something stupid, right? Just in any case, I'm not saying that this young man did something stupid. The only thing I would tell this young man is you shouldn't be running if you didn't steal anything. You should have stayed there. But unfortunately, he took off running because he was scared. But
yeah, that's just it's a fight or flight.
It's a fight or flight, and he ran.
Yeah,
and he ran, and he ended up getting murdered. But unrelated to that, if a person is black that happens to do some real stupid shit, they don't look at that as a one-off. They're like, that's who they are, right? You notice that. Whenever somebody black does something dumb, they push a police officer and they throw a crack pipe out the window, they're like, oh my God, their culture is just lost, right? But whenever a cop does something crazy, it's like one bad apple. One bad apple. Man, one bad apple is too much. This is not McDonald's, motherfucker. You can't burn a batch of fries and just make a new one. You're dealing with human lives here. So when you go out there and you shoot somebody for no fucking reason, and you got all these racist text messages, you can't get a one bad apple because a one bad apple spoils the whole bunch.
But did you see the cop that pulled the girl over? And it was like, hey, you know, I seen that you had your phone in your right hand and you were texting.
And she didn't have an arm.
And she was like, I don't even. Well, she didn't have a hand, but she was like, she driving with her left hand. How can she text?
She had a nub. She had a nub.
Yeah.
And he said, well, she's like, I'm going to fight you in court. He's like, fine, you can fight me. And he's saying you can fight me, and she literally doesn't have her fucking arm. She's got a nub.
He should have just said, I apologize.
I apologize.
And then, you have a nice day. But that's the thing, like, people be so headstrong about being right that they don't even want to admit that they were wrong.
You're dealing with people's egos. You got to understand. You're dealing with microaggressions. You're dealing with people's egos. And ultimately, if they don't want to be wrong, they feel like that badge and that uniform, that it nullifies that. But it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
But let's go to this one little last piece and we'll move on. But there was a man, an Asian man, that said, like, what would black people do? How would they eat? How would they live if it wasn't for us in the neighborhood? And I'm thinking, like, this is just very short. This is very short-sighted to say something like this. But let me see here.
Community says, let's boycott Asian businesses. Please do. We'll get rid of the Chinese takeout, the dry cleaners, the laundromats. Let's get rid of the liquor stores as well. Get rid of the Jordans you guys wear, the Nikes you wear, the shower caps, the Hondas, the Hyundais, all your car electricians, the electronics in your house, the Sony, the TV system, your sound system, the microphones that you guys use to rap and speak about awareness for the black culture and the hip-hop culture. We think that's made all in Asia. And here's another thing for you guys. You guys want us to leave the neighborhood so bad? Oh, Asian people are in our neighborhoods? We're in white neighborhoods. We have our own Chinatown. We have our own Koreatown. You think we really need you guys to benefit off and make money? A lot of us do go to college as well. You're being outworked by immigrants who barely speak English. And you're not embarrassed? Go to the bank, start your own businesses, and deal with your own people. I want to see your own women get on their hands and knees and do pedicures and manicures and deal with nasty-ass attitude.
Okay. So when you hear things like this, what I take from this is this. What I take from this is a person that doesn't understand the history of this country. And truth be told, the reason why they have those salons and the reason why they have those things, they've been incentivized by the government to start those businesses. It's not that black people can't start businesses now. It's that they were unallowed to get business loans exclusively from the government, right? So they were giving literally like that's why when you go to every 7-Eleven, it's always Indian people. It's never like a person from America. And that's not to That's not to shit on them. That's just the truth. Like this is what it makes them come off as is the model minority. When in actuality, you're not the model minority. You're just the person that they've been using. It's no differently when you mention like all the electronics and Nike. Y'all don't own Nike. You are employees of Nike. The US,
Jordan the one eating off of Jordans.
Yeah, that's the thing that's crazy about it. They're just exploiting you for low labor cost. That's what it is. You talk about microphones; those also can be made here. So what are you talking about? That it's just it lacks nuance and it lacks sense.
Yeah.
You know, and my thing is here's the thing. I will say that black people are overly consumptuous at times. That's one thing that I don't like about the black community. I wish we didn't consume as much. However, if you take away the consumption power within these areas, then they wouldn't need the store. So, for example, if I was a guy that had a lot of money and I wanted to literally be like, hey, you know what? Don't go to these Asian markets anymore. All I would do is have 24-hour shuttle buses that took the community to the grocery store. And that would take away over 50% of your business. That's all I would need. And if you really want to take it there, if I really wanted to do it, I would this is what I would do. I would send a person, a non-black person, to buy your location, but it would actually be me as the owner, and I would turn it into a black business. And I could legally do that. It's not like it's the craziest concept, right? But the thing about it is, I hate the whole idea when people try to turn it. Like, first of all, if I wanted to flip it, I'd be like, hey, what about K-pop? Stop doing K-pop. Stop putting dreads in your hair in China or Japan. Y'all don't got dreads and shit in Japan. Like, what are you talking about, dog? Like, literally, you're mocking and making hundreds of millions of dollars off of black culture. And if you didn't have it, you wouldn't make a dime. The fact that you sell hair, the fact that you sell wave caps, nobody wears wave caps there. If we literally didn't consume, you wouldn't have any money. That's not me being a racist or anything. That's just the fucking bare bones of it.
I think one thing, too, is like we have to stop comparing the plight of somebody that was brought here and the plight of somebody that chose to come here.
It's a big difference.
It's a completely different scenario. Even if you look at like Africans, a lot of Africans, they're still considered black. But even when they come here, a lot of them have great education. You know, I have one of my friends, he got like 4 or 5 different degrees, and, you know, he works at the sheriff's office and stuff like that. Like that's kind of how, that's why they come here to get a better life.
Sometimes Nigerians be wilding out too.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that. That's a whole different thing. But I'm just saying that in terms of like black people coming to America and being able to thrive, like a lot of them have done that. And then there's people from our community that have, fought an uphill battle to kind of get what we are in terms of getting our degrees and, getting trades and stuff like that. So there's a lot of people that are doing that. But I just think that when you talk about, I went to school in New Mexico, right? Like, I wouldn't go to New Mexico just to be lazy. Like, I wouldn't travel out, however many 2-3 states over just to like waste my time when I'm going there to get my education. So same thing when these people come to America from Vietnam or Korea or Japan or China or whatever, they're coming here with like strong intentions, and they probably have a plan and they probably have a blueprint because maybe their uncles or their cousins or whatever have probably came here and they already opened up a fast food restaurant or opened up a liquor store or something like that. So it's just a different plight. And I think that, I think people that try to hop on TikTok and talk to cameras and act like they can articulate somebody's plight just because, they came from another country and they're comparing the two. It's not really, it's apples and oranges, man. So I think that people need to stop trying to compare everybody's situation to one another.
And God bless you, man. I'm glad you came over here and you could make something of yourself. Yeah. I wouldn't remotely tell you not to do that. But the fact that you go into somebody's community and disrespect them is a problem. The fact that you watch everybody and treat everybody like they stealing is a problem. I've dealt with it before. And the thing is, you can't be in a place where you don't respect people, and yet they are your primary source of income. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes absolutely no sense. That's why I mentioned the whole shuttle bus situation. If you're going to a place where these people, and let me not, I don't want to paint every Asian person with a broad brush, but anybody that happens to be Asian that thinks like this dude, y'all could go kick rocks. I don't give a fuck what your business does. I don't. Because I would never think I could pull up into Chinatown and disrespect Chinese people. Never in a million years I would think that. Mm-hmm. I would never go to K-Town, out there, Koreatown out in L.A., and open up a store and disrespect Koreans. Never in a million years. Mm-hmm. When you go into somebody's house, you got to take your shoes off and respect them people. Mm-hmm. And if a person is stealing, get a picture of them and put them on the wall and tell them they're no longer welcome. That's how I used to do it in the old school.
Yeah. You
know, that's how they still do it at Fast Strip. If somebody's stealing, they got a video and they got a picture and they put them on the wall and say, you no longer can come here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's how, that's what I was saying. Like, they steal from Walmart all the time. And not that it's right, but it's just like, that's kind of, it comes with the territory. And you could probably write those things off at the end of the year. But, like I said, last thing I'll say about this is a $1 water bottle, which was not even stolen, is not worth somebody's life.
No, it's just not. That's the bare bones of it. It is not worth somebody's life. I just keep seeing people. I've seen a lot of Asian people showing love and support and mentioning like this doesn't make any sense, and also mentioning some of the anti-blackness that they've had and some of the things that their parents have told them. Hey, black people are dangerous. Make sure you stay away from them. Like all kind of shit. Like it's been a lot of things that have been said that I've seen. And it's just like, it's very disheartening because I don't have these conversations. I don't be like, hey, you gotta watch out for those, you gotta watch out for them Indians, man. They don't be doing, it's like, bro, like, come on, dog. Like, how do you make it through life thinking that way?
Yeah. I'm not even that invested.
Yeah, I'm not that invested in somebody to be shitting on them for no reason. But anyways, let's go ahead and switch gears. Switching gears. This is a little more lighthearted here. We got a few more. What time we got?
It's 1 hour and 2 minutes.
Get the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Already? Mm-hmm. Golly. Keith has a kid, man. I can't hold him that long anymore. We can't have no 3-hour podcast no more. I think we'll get a couple more of these and just cut it off, dog. All right. Yeah. So, switching gears. A woman sues Outback Steakhouse for $1.5 million, says she slipped on mashed potatoes. So this is tough. Go ahead and pull this up for you.
Steakhouse responding to a $1.5 million lawsuit filed by a woman who claims she was injured after slipping on mashed potatoes. The woman claiming that she suffered serious and permanent injuries after the mishap at one of the chain's locations in Virginia back in 2023. The suit blaming the chain for leaving food on the floor and creating unreasonably dangerous conditions. Outback has filed for notice of removal, which could move the case from state to federal court, and says it neither admits nor denies the allegations.
Outback Steakhouse just trying to get away with they're trying to pull a fast one. Yeah, but here's the issue. People may say, oh, she slipped on potatoes, big deal. Hold on a minute. Last time I checked that potatoes, they have oils in them, such as butter, right? So if you got oils in the mashed potatoes and let's say it's got bacon on top, right? You've added even more oils. That is a very slippery thing. That's a slip hazard. Mm-hmm. Imagine slipping on potatoes. You think a banana in Mario Kart is bad. Imagine mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
We talking about a full cartoon character slip.
I will say that, I don't know how legitimate this is, but I will say that as a normal citizen out here in these streets, I also look for any opportunity to sue somebody that got more money than
Absolutely.
me. So
you going down.
Yeah. Well, whether, you walk into a store and maybe it's a little slippery and, obviously you want it to happen in a natural way, but yeah, I'll be on the lookout for, possible lawsuits as well. Shoot.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll be like just minding my business. I was like, man, I wish a cop would give me a black eye.
Yeah, not no permanent damage, but just tussle me up, rough me up enough.
Just give me a nice shiner. Give me a nice shiner. And please, like in the middle of punching me, like in the middle of throwing a right hook, just hit me with a hard R.
Yeah,
so I could really get him.
Yeah.
I'd be like, that was physical assault.
And get it all
That's
recorded.
racial bias. You get it all in there.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, oh. And you know what's sad about that? I could get punched, right? I get punched in the eye. I got a black eye. I got called the N-word. It'll be somebody in the comments like, wow, they always play the victim. They're playing the victim again. Look at it.
You know what I be thinking about, like, just randomly, especially with, like with the Cyrus kid and Carmelo and all these different things. There's always, even Trayvon and Oscar Grant and whomever, you know, a lot of those kids is just like regular black dudes like you and I. Maybe got like a little history of doing some, you know, some stuff, but whatever.
Right.
But for the most part, they just regular people. I always think like if I got caught in one of those situations, they gon' try to slander me.
Oh,
like
yeah,
they gonna try
try
to pull up like pictures of me holding a gun and like all kind of stuff, and I'm gonna be like, shh.
What they're gonna do is they're gonna go find all the movies and all the scenes that you have. They're gonna find a scene in which in one of the movies you play like a villain, right? Well, I don't want to give away too much, but the last movie we were in with the church scene and all that.
Oh yeah.
You were playing like a dark character, right? So they're gonna take that dark character and be like, was there a parallel between Keith Fingers and his and such and such?
Yeah.
And then they go see me. We do the podcast together every week. They'll be like, Keith Fingers and his thug co-host, they band together to stop. So you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, man. Sprinkle some crack on them.
Yeah, that's what it is. The good old sprinkle some crack on him. Yeah, but nah, we jumped off topic. Yeah, I wouldn't mind slipping at Outback Steakhouse, but my thing is, I don't want to just slip there. I want to slip at a very, very, very high-paying place. So I want to go to a casino. I want to go over to the Hard Rock Casino.
Yeah.
And I want to buy one of those overpriced meals they got in there.
Yeah.
And I hope that like a fragment of a chicken strip like falls on the ground, and then like I slip in front of everybody. I'm talking about it's like, and I want it to be the most natural organic slip you can have. And I want to hit the ground hard, bro.
God damn.
I want to knock the wind out, and I want a little knot on the side of my head with a little blood coming out.
You know the good ones be like the medical malpractice.
Ooh!
I think one of my
I got
friends,
a vagina now.
Oh dang! What happened to my dick? But one of my friends, his dad got 6 figures from I believe from Kaiser, because I don't know exactly what happened, but he was in the hospital or in under their medical care, and something had happened, and then he got a huge lawsuit. He bought a couple cribs and all kind of stuff.
I think there's been shit that happened, like whether if it's like in law enforcement or whatever. Imagine like you're at a restaurant, you're about to get some food, and the cop's not trying to harm anybody. But, you know, he's probably been, because there's some cases where the police are being assaulted, somebody's like pushed them down, and they're trying not to shoot the guy, so they got a taser, right? And they got a taser out, because it's usually there's no in between a lot. A lot of times there's cops that are very passive or just overly aggressive. Right, so he'd be like, look, for the last time, man, just please stop running. Like, come on, man, just get on the ground. And he's like, no, motherfucker. So the guy runs into a building, and then he finally shoots. You know those tasers that got like the string on them, and they fly out? Imagine getting hit by one of those, and you get shocked by it. That dude, you're gonna get paid, dude.
Oh yeah. Like wrongfully?
Yeah, wrongfully.
That was I feel like I know somebody that happened to. But yeah. Hey, get your money, man.
Yeah. Ooh, getting shocked up. Oh shit. Yeah. All right. Switching gears. This is a big one. This we made national news for the wrong reason, man.
Yeah.
FBI fatally shoots Bakersfield man holding hostages in a California office building, police say. So this is the guy that was near that Chase Bank building, and he held all those hostages in there. The suspect barricaded himself in a Bakersfield building for several hours. It was longer than 7 hours. I think it was more like 10 or something like that. Anyways, Tuesday, prompting a massive law enforcement response. A California sex offender who was killed after he
describing him as a sex offender is crazy.
Yeah, they did some hard hitters right here. He had several people hostage during an hours-long standoff. Had expressed concerns over how his case was handled. According to the police and his former attorney, the man identified as Anthony Scott Searles Harris, 41 years old, stormed in the building on Chester Avenue and 17th Street in Bakersfield just before 1 p.m. Tuesday. Authorities said police said at a news conference Wednesday they began receiving calls shortly afterwards about a man with explosive inside. Cyrus Harris barricaded himself at the second floor, took 10 Kern County Superintendent of School employees hostage. Bakersfield Assistant Police Chief Jeremy Blackmore said the standoff prompted a massive law enforcement response that included crisis negotiators and the FBI.
Those people that I heard came from L.A.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, and you don't want them to come down here.
Yeah. They already pissed off.
Yeah.
Like, we got to go to Bakersfield. It's probably hot out there.
Yeah, we got to come down here with this to shoot this meth head.
Yeah, and yeah. They're not coming to negotiate either.
Fuck no.
They said they brought the negotiators in, but they came to shoot something. Especially like when you put somebody's life in danger like that, whether it was real or not, you threatening people, you got us out here for 15 hours. Man, I'm about to shoot something.
Yeah, I mean, they're ready to do it. And the thing about it, too, is I don't know what he wanted people to know, but he wanted people to know something. Yeah. Because all of those people were unharmed. Mm-hmm. So I think if there was malicious intent, then he probably would have somebody would have got fucked up.
He probably didn't have a real strong plan.
He might have not had a good bomb either.
Yeah, the bomb. Yeah.
I mean, he was from Oildale, so that bomb was questionable.
Ha!
He probably got materials from the Dollar Tree to make that fucking bomb.
Probably just the bath bomb.
Yeah, right? No, it was a roach bomb. It's like, I will kill every fucking roach in here right now, man. Don't fucking test me. I need you to meet my demands. And it's like, this guy's got a can of Raid, man. This is not even a real bomb.
The kind you gotta set up in your house and leave for like 5 hours.
Yeah, this guy was a joke. He went into a convenience store to get materials for his bomb.
That's hilarious.
You remember 9/11? This was 7/11.
That was comedy.
Yeah, this guy had no idea what he was doing.
Yeah.
But I'm glad all the people inside
Yeah.
Are safe. Thank goodness. That could have went the wrong way. There's not a whole lot more to really mention about this.
Yeah, I think there's a movie, and I think with these situations, more information comes out afterwards because we don't really hear, like, it's still kind of ongoing, even though he's already passed away.
Right.
But there's a movie with Al Pacino. It's called Dog Day Afternoons, and it was like, it wasn't similar to, it was like, it has similarities, but it was a little different. Basically, Al Pacino and one of his friends, they, not literally Al Pacino, but the character he plays, they basically, decide to go in and rob a bank. And they're in there and they're holding people hostage and they're trying to get the money or whatever. And then there's this like I said, they're holding people hostage, and then eventually the police come and stuff like that. And it's like national news, like it's helicopters out there, everybody's reporting it, and the guy is charismatic. Like, he comes outside and he's like cheering people, or people are cheering him on and all this other stuff. And basically, come to find out, the guy was trying to rob the bank. And he's a married man. I think he's married with kids. He's trying to rob the bank because he wanted to pay for the sex change of his secret lover. So basically, he was like in love with this guy that wanted to transition, and he wanted to rob the bank in order to pay the money for that sex change. So it was like a huge thing back in like the 70s or whatever. And this reminded me of that because a lot of that stuff you don't find out until afterwards, where they interview the lover person or whatever. So I think in this situation, like, you have a lot of those. He had a whole YouTube channel, and somebody said he was trying to clear his name and all this and all these different things. So I think more and more, information is going to come out once they start scrubbing his computers and, and things like that. And yeah, we'll keep our ear to the streets, I guess.
Yeah, man. I think there might be more that comes out. I don't know what he told the people that got out. Mm-hmm. They might know something. I'm pretty sure that they've been. I'm not going to say interrogated, but they've been asked questions by the FBI and BPD. Well, who knows? I think he wanted people to know something, or maybe he wanted to. This is the possibility. Maybe he wanted to take his life and he was too scared to do it himself.
I know. I watched a little bit of his YouTube video. I think they scrubbed a lot of his stuff from the internet. But somebody did a reaction to his videos. it sucks that they scrubbed the stuff. I feel like that stuff should be able to live on, and we as consumers should be able to watch it. But I'm sure somebody out there downloaded it or whatever. But I watched a video, and it was a black dude basically reacting to his video. So that's kind of like the only way you could probably consume it now. And basically he was saying, I think he was accused, him and another guy was accused of, and this sounds, super graphic, but basically there was a, underage girl when I believe they forced her to give them fellatio.
Oh, Lord.
And I guess it was like a party or like a little kickback situation and at his house, and that's what happened. And I don't know how the girl told the police, but, after that had happened, he got arrested, or they had a warrant to search his house, and then they went in there and they took, computers and hard drives and everything like that. And then he was, essentially, convicted after that. But so what he was doing was he was putting together these videos to try to prove his innocence. And a lot of the stuff, and this is me kind of copying what the dude was saying in the video. I wish I remember his name so I could shout him out. But he was basically saying, like, dog, you're not really saying you didn't do it. You're just trying to like find like semantics and loopholes to say that you didn't do certain things. It's like They came into my house and they didn't have warrants, and the Bakersfield Police Department is known for searching places without warrants.
That's crazy.
They fabricated things post, de facto, and all these other things. So, I think that, he probably had a lot of mental health issues and maybe some sociopath, type of situations where he would, just believed what he wanted to believe. But he had a laundry list of, different allegations and restraining orders and, sexual assault and things like that. And, I think he was a head case. And like you said, it might have been that situation where, once you have that sexual assault, especially
your life done, homie.
Yeah, it's the difference between having like just sexual assault, which is already bad, but when you have sexual assault with somebody
minor?
that's you can't do nothing.
Nah, you cooked, homie. And then the fact that he didn't really speak to that, he said they broke into my house without a warrant. It's like, were you having relations with an underage person?
Yeah, like let's speak to the facts. Like, did this happen or did this not?
I think that his ego, maybe his personality, like maybe his reputation or who he is was ruined by that situation, and he was just trying to save face. Mm-hmm. But the issue with that ultimately is, bro, you was doing some shit you had no business doing. If they came in and that was really going on, bro, then I mean, come on, dog. Why you gotta rob up? Why you gotta hold up 10 people?
Yeah,
that's no, man.
Yeah, there's easy ways to go out.
Yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and switch gears and wrap this thing up. Recently, a Diddy video got released. Very inconveniently, a video got released. And I will be honest, I watched the video, but I watched it for podcast purposes.
Yeah.
So the subject in the video was Daphne Joy, this Filipino Instagram model, who is extremely attractive, by the way. Which is this is all gonna make sense. She was in a Diddy video. And
calling it a Diddy video is crazy.
Yeah, it was. He was in it. He was in it.
It was a freak off.
It was, I guess,
a light freak off.
It was a freak off tape. It was Diddy. It was some dude named Sly Diggler, who was supposed to be an adult male porn star, and I guess once it got out, she's tried to say I didn't consent to this video being released, or I didn't consent to being recorded, but it just seemed extremely inauthentic to say that based on that she was looking right at the camera, knowing the camera was there. It looks like a willful participant, right? And then she leaned all the way into it. She did an 85% off sale for her OnlyFans, which is crazy, right?
Yeah, she's been doing a press run.
Oh, yeah, she's been doing a press.
She's moving around like her album just came out.
She's making a lot of money. She's making a lot of money right now. Mm-hmm. But let me go ahead and see something here. It's just wild what's happening. Literally within 24 hours of saying, I really didn't consent to being videotaped. Then she's on live. She's on her personal live stream asking, answering questions like, does size matter? And I'm just like, this is crazy. And I mean, not to mention, 50 Cent and her have a son. Her son is 13 or 14 years old now. So he's old enough to see all this shit. This has to be extremely embarrassing.
He might have social media and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's got to be embarrassing. And then these kids literally, they all have social. So they know who his mom is. And the thing that's crazy about Diddy, what's hilarious about it is people are body shaming him. Because in the video, the guy's, it said it in the documents that the guy's got like a Tootsie Roll penis, right? Which is like, that's neither here nor there. But Diddy was the type of nigga that was like, you know what? I may not have much penis, but I could hire the BBC. So this dude was hiring BBCs.
Little Diddy.
He was hiring dudes to BBC. So you got, and unfortunately, this Diddy, in parts of the video, this guy's got his ass on. I'm like, oh my God, get out. This is crazy. And then the other dude, this guy's got, let's just say that this guy's got what you would expect people to have in porn videos. Mm-hmm. The dude's got like 13-inch hog. Daphne's over there taking it. And Diddy is just standing there like, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He coaching him.
Go crazy.
Go crazy.
Go crazy with it. Yeah, go crazy.
Take that.
Everybody's crazy in here.
Yeah, bad boy.
Yeah, we ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. Cause you got BBC. And I'm watching tonight. That shit was nuts. But let me see here. Daphne Joy. Daphne Joy asked if size matters after alleged Diddy sex tape. Said on Monday, model hopped on Instagram to share a teaser reel in which she answered some questions. The first being, does size matter? She doesn't answer the question on the video. Instead, on her IG story, she directs followers to her OnlyFans.
Dang.
Joy made headlines this week when the alleged leaked video involving her, the incarcerated music mogul and adult film performer Sly Diggler, made the rounds online. 50 Cent, with whom she shares a child, reacted first. She's not a victim. She is not a victim. He said of their son in an IG post. Can you imagine going to 8th grade to find out this is your mom? Then seemed to address the fact that Joy has custody of their son. The court system in LA thinks it's fine, he added. Everybody plays the fool sometime, and I have been the biggest fool, she wrote. I just wanted my man at the time to be happy and satisfied. I wanted to fulfill all his desires, even if that meant breaking my own boundaries. I deeply loved him, and I believe he loved me too. It's still so painful for me to process the harsh reality and truth of that relationship, but as time passes and in my quiet moments, I realize it was far from love. Daphne Joy, stop it. In the actual document, in the documentation surrounding the case, they mentioned that she was having sex for $10,000 a month. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I'm not shocked by any of this, and I'm not gonna shame her at all. What I will say is, go do a real video now. Like, you might as well just go out and find some wherever and go do a real video, because if you are you're giving 85% off on your OnlyFans, she's got to be making. She had to make at least $500,000 within the last week.
Yeah,
that's how crazy this is.
I would say, like, and I think this is just good business. Like, yep. You got this video, however it came out. Like, the Sly Diggler dude was on DJ Vlad TV saying that basically a situation went down. Puff actually grabbed my camera on accident and was filming the whole situation, and it's still on my phone. What's the name? Confirmed it. Vlad confirmed it. And then like a year later, the video is everywhere online. So who knows, like, how that came out. I do know, like, a lot of times when it's quote unquote revenge porn, like, there's sometimes lawsuits attached to it. And, they try to scrub it from the internet, but she seems to be leaning into it. So she probably thought that, maybe there was worse ones out there, or maybe there was some crazier ones, but this was probably, like, palatable enough for her to still, look like a decent person. And then she would probably get a little bit of sympathy from some people, and then some of the dudes or whomever that wanted to, indulge in more of that stuff, she just, threw the OnlyFans out there, and then, now.
And the reason why things are working out for her is because, she is extremely seductive in a way that goes beyond her looks. Mm-hmm. Like, she knows how to. I feel like she knows how to talk a man out of his money. Mm. Like, if a woman like her walks up and you're worth like $500 million, and she was like, she'll walk up to you and be like, yeah, like, you seem like a really good person. You have a nice vibe about you. And I would love to spend the night with you if you would like to do that.
Yeah.
And then he'd be like, and you'd be like, yeah, sure. It's like, yeah, I think would even be better if like maybe I woke up with maybe $50,000 in my account tomorrow morning. I think that would be really sexy if you did that. And he'd be like, yeah, I'll do that right now.
Nah, I don't even think it's that direct. Because, like, if you look at the conversation between her and academics, all she's doing is just looking.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And academics, he fumbling over, hey, man, like, hey, like, what's a good size?
Yeah.
And she just like, well, it's all about the motion in the ocean.
Yeah.
So she's like, I think she has a way of, like, just her presence.
Yeah.
Will just have, the average dude tongue-tied to where I'm sure it's like dudes in Dubai that's like, yo, I'm $1 million you could doodle on my chest, like
damn
weird stuff like that.
I mean, Dubai will actually, they do the shitting in Dubai.
Oh, they do it?
Yeah. Those sheiks, they be shitting on the girls. It's not the other way around.
Yeah.
But I will say this. There are 3 women I could think of that have the hypnotizing beauty. What I mean by hypnotizing beauty is they're already attractive, but they have this crazy, extremely deep, like manipulative, feminine energy that like it makes men stutter. Like I think if a lot of women knew how to lean into that, they would be the perfect manipulator. Like I think that Taylor Rooks is one of them. I think she's extremely attractive. She's very beautiful, but she's very smart and all that. But I've seen her in interviews talking to like athletes, and they're like stuttering, like they can't talk right.
Yeah.
I've seen it with Janae Aiko before.
Yeah, she had that one, the dude, and like he was tongue tied.
He's like, she was like, what? What's wrong? I was like, oh my God.
What's wrong?
I'm like, God, Lee, man.
That's hilarious, dog.
That nigga had to collect himself.
Yeah.
And Daphne Joy has that same thing. It doesn't, and you know what's crazy about Daphne Joy? Daphne Joy is so beautiful that it doesn't matter that she was in a sex tape. She could almost like trick your mind into believing that didn't happen.
She's above it.
Then she's like, you know what? That was a time in my life where something happened, and
yeah.
I mean, look, you know what? It's all about the positive vibe.
Yeah, I don't think any other person that has been in some sort of like sex scandal like that has come out just like in that sense. Like because the whole Kim thing and even with Paris Hilton,
right?
All of that stuff, it was like damage control at a certain point. She kind of got in front of it and is just like, yo, like, buy my OnlyFans, it's okay, like. Yeah,
she's like, you know what, like that was, and you know what she could lean on? She could lean on the fact that it was private, it was not supposed to get out. So she's leaning on that narrative when she comes out and does this. So it's like, bro, now you thought it was bad, and I seen she just posted something like today, right? She posted a clip with academics. And I see the comments like, yo, it don't matter. Like, you fire. You are so beautiful. Oh, my God. Like,
it would still be dudes that would cuff her for sure.
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. I wouldn't be shocked if all of a sudden Daphne Joy started popping up on Rampage Jackson's streams, on his fucking live streams.
Yeah.
I would not doubt, because I guarantee you that freaking Rampage Jackson, that dude loves Asian women. So Rampage would be like, oh my God, your name Daphne Joy, right? She's like, yeah, that's my name. I've seen your streams before. Like, you're really funny. You're hilarious. And he would be like, well. Yeah, man.
Yeah. She knows what she's doing. She had act messed up when she was basically saying like, she was laughing at when Ack was roasting her.
Yeah.
That's when that nigga was like, he was in shambles. He probably was pulling out his credit card as she was talking.
Yeah, and he tried to say like, you know what? I don't pay for no girls. Like, I ain't never had to pay for no girls. Shut the fuck up. Yes, you have.
Yeah, if Daphne asks you to
you're paying.
pick up that tab.
You're paying.
Yeah.
You're paying. If I'm a guy, and this is going to make me sound terrible, if I'm a guy that's rich and I'm very private and I just want to have like a date, like, and that's it, I would absolutely reach out.
Yeah.
I'd absolutely reach out. I'd be like, hey, what's going on? Like, I've seen your work.
I've seen your work. That's
all right,
funny.
Let me see. I'll show this little video real quick and we can get cracking.
I feel like it's special because it's my son's mom.
That's not the one I want to pull up. Dang it. Anyways, we'll probably have to. It's not there. Dang it! I wanted to pull the one over the academics, but we've already talked about it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he was basically like, so like, what about size? Like, what do you think about the size? I don't believe in ever asking that question.
That is a little weird.
That's a weird question. Like,
I guess if you're like in that world, it's a pertinent question to ask because you got one, well endowed person, and then you got one person that is just like unendowed, I guess you could say. So I guess, if you're like a content creator or in that, interviewing her right off the back of that video, you would be trying to figure out like, hey, like how do I stack up? Like where can I fit in?
I think Daphne Joy is about to make probably $2 to $5 million before this year is up. Mm-hmm. Because already being attractive is alone is had her like, I don't follow her. Let me go to her IG real quick.
This is like everybody gets an opportunity to hit a lick. This is the same way like when Drake dissed Kendrick started it, but when Drake dropped push-ups or whatever, that was Kendrick's opportunity to have the biggest year of his life. And I feel like same way with Daphne, like this tape drop, this is an opportunity for her to go on Call Her Daddy podcast.
Yeah.
Couple other podcasts pop up with DJ Academics. Might go on the Breakfast Club. Who knows? Like, just different situations like that. And then also promoting her OnlyFans situation. So
I can't find her freaking, what's her name now?
Money is going to be rolling in for sure.
Yeah. Let me see if I can pull up her IG. If it's still here. Oh, here it is right here. There it is. Daphne Joy, 1.7 million. And this was, when did she post this? 5 weeks. Oh, this is 5 weeks ago. But
that's the crazy part about, and we talked about this before, but being a woman, you just have to be attractive. There's so much value in just being attractive.
Yeah, there is. There's a lot. But let's be clear. We can't make it like this is just a woman thing. Men feed that. Men are feeding it. I think it's worse for men because men are feeding that behavior and that ego. Mm-hmm. So she could get away with it as long as men are foolish. Mm-hmm. As long as men are foolish, she'll get away with it.
Yeah.
And being attractive is not just a woman thing because there's a lot of men who get away with shit from being conventionally attractive themselves.
Yeah, 100%.
It's dudes that are on the upper scale of attractiveness where, how as a guy like this average looking like me, I'll be like, yeah, I'd like to take you out and we could, have a conversation, have some food and some, whatever, right? I got to take you. I have to convince you, right, in order for you to like be with me. But there is a guy that could come around and be like, yeah, I like your vibe.
Wipe everybody out.
You said what?
This is like a guy that could come in and wipe everybody out. Yeah.
This guy's the Thanos of pussy.
That was, I'd be watching that show Love Island.
I haven't seen
it. There's a dude that just came on the last episode, which was on Friday. Just tall, light-skinned dude. He from where he from? He from like Florida or something like that.
Right.
6'5", light-skinned, curly hair, colored eyes and stuff like that. And he just walk in and he just wiped everybody out. Like all the girls is on him and stuff like that. So like you said, attractiveness is cachet in America for sure.
Yeah, it's all the comments. I'm reading the comments here. This is insane. He's like, she's super fine and very outgoing, kind, Texas toast, thick, funny personality too. Mm-hmm. People like, yeah. And then she responded, Texas toast, thick, LOL, never heard that one before. So funny.
And those are little comments that give just enough people life. To where like you'd be like, oh, she responded to that. Let me just
yeah, because the thing about it is she's being a predator, believe it or not. Because she understands her OnlyFans is gonna be going nuts. Yeah. And that's the type of nigga that's gonna subscribe to it.
Because not only the people are subscribing because she's attractive, they're also subscribing because they be like, she's real personable.
Yeah, not personable at all, just hot. You know what's sad? And we gotta hang it up on this one. People that I'll say women more specifically, right? Women that are extremely attractive, all they have to do is the bare minimum, and dudes will make up any excuse for them. Mm-hmm. Like a woman could be like, a waitress brings something out, like, oh, thank you so much. Be like, yo, she fine and she kind, bro. It's like, bro, she just said fucking thank you to the waitress.
Yeah.
Like, we will make excuses for these people. Women do it with men. Women do it with men, too. I've seen women look goofy over a dude they thought was fine. They'd be like, the dude will be having, like, 4 girls texting him at the same time, and they'd be like, I mean, I got these hoes texting me, but I like you. I like you more than all of them. They're like, oh, my God. Like, he has girls, but, like, he puts me first.
Yeah, he set aside all the hoes for me.
Yeah, he told me, like, once he done with those hoes, he going to come back over to my house. I was like, oh, my God.
Like, he got a little STD, but he don't bring it over here.
Yeah, he got some, like, Rice Krispies on his dick, but it's all good.
Like, he always wrap it up with me.
Yeah, he always wear a condom. I told him, like, don't even worry about the rash. Oh, man. I don't care about a little sass as long as you got that rash. Oh, man. All right, let's get out of here, man. We got to get Keith
Hey,
home.
man, it was good to be back. Boy, back on the pod.
man.
You feel me? Yeah, it's been 2 months, but yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, it doesn't even feel like it's been 2 months. That's crazy.
The time be flying.
Yeah, man. So that's how many times? 8 weeks for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
man.
Yep.
Well, hey, we appreciate you guys for tuning in for another installment of a Trucker's Mind podcast. So for those that follow me on TikTok, I'll be active on there tonight. So once again, thank you for listening to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Fings.
We're out of here.
Peace.